I think the best thing that we do to help conserve the environment is that, and this is the most contentious part, because I can't tell you how many times I hear, you're telling me what I can do with my land? I own this property and I can't do what I want. And you know, there is this federal law, and it's very controversial because it does limit what might be done with the land. I mean, you could still get a permit, but we do help people. We do try to help people see what their goal is with the land, and again, see how they can minimize the impact on the property. But again, our focus is, and the limits of our jurisdiction are so narrow, it's just on waters of the U.S. that include wetlands. So there's a lot of other things that could happen to the environment right up to this man-made line that we regulate. We have two pieces of legislation that are the basis for the regulatory program. One is the Clean Water Act, and that is the most controversial. You know, and it's not just, you know, the law really hasn't changed since the 70s, but there's all these court interpretations that expand and narrow our jurisdiction. And you know, there's talk about that right now. You know, Waters of the U.S. rule, I don't know if you've been following that, but it was enacted right before Obama went out. Now it's been put on, you know, just because of litigation while he was still in the presidency. There was a order to stop. So we used it for maybe 2 days. And it's been in litigation since. Trump says that he'd like to redo that. They put out public notices for comments on repealing it and replacing it with something closer to another Supreme Court ruling. So there's the Clean Water Act, and what's older and longer and what most people associate with us is the Rivers and Harbors Act. But what it does is, the core in our role historically has been maintaining navigable waterways. And so that's the oldest one. It's usually not as contentious because a lot of that case law is already played out, and it's usually pretty clear. And it's things like regulating dredging, any structures in, over, or above waters of the navigable waters of the U.S. I think the thing I like best is something we talked about on the walk over here is I like getting outside. I don't like, if I was chained to a desk, I'd go crazy. And that's one reason I've never applied for like a supervisory role, because they take you out of the field and then you deal with people issues. And I don't know about you guys, but you know, that's the last thing that I want to do.
Yeah.
So I get out in the field at least half the time. And what I'd like, at least at our district, and other districts could be different, is that I get to set my own schedule. Like if it's raining, I could cancel a site visit. Or if it's beautiful, I could schedule things around and get outside that day. So if you can match up your interest with a certain agency, I'd see where the agency is most active. Government-wide, have you ever been on USA Jobs, that website?
Yeah,
and they have some stuff geared towards students or recent graduates. There's some very good programs that if you could get into those now, because it's very competitive. There's a lot of people who want to work in our field.